What's up, guys? It's Nate from Leaker Magazine. We are at the first ever inaugural Chattanooga Hip Hop Summit. We are here doing an interview with Mad Salvy and his crew.
We can accomplish anything together. Listen. Higher frequencies vibrating, bringing everything to life. I died a couple times and resurrected into the divine. Particles invading the deep and dormant parts of your brain.
How are you enjoying your time here?
I'm good. Yeah, man, it's really cool to see what you guys put together. First of all, it's free, so that's incredible. I mean, to see the fact that two different groups, Leaker Magazine and Milk Drop, came together to do something to genuinely, like, make this better is like a reflection of what you guys are trying to do, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
We're glad you're here, man. Thanks. So, how did you first get into music?
Well, the first, like, I don't know, it's like, you know, everything in life is very subconscious. Growing up, you just kind of this here and there. The first time I really fell in love with like wanting to be something in music, I was like 9 years old, right? And I was at church, and I went to a Pentecostal church. So I'm talking about like drums, guitar, everything. I'm seeing these people in like these dope robes, just like just getting down, right? And I'm like, dude, they fucking feel that shit, right? So I go up to the person who like leads the choir, and I'm like, hey, you know, how can I be a part of it? And he's like, hey, you got to be at least 17 years old. And I'm like, shit, I know what I'm doing when I turn 17, right? And then little by little that progressed into like just, I don't know, the way that music is able to create a scene and a place to go to, right? So when you experience things like depression, anxiety, being lost in the world because you don't know what the fuck is going on, you don't know what you want to do, and then being able to put on that freaking Good Kid, Mad City and drift away into that man's world and see that he went through something similar and if not harder, and he made it out and he made it through music, I was like, dude, this is what the fuck I need in my life, right? So then little by little you start kind of putting yourself in mental spaces that you become more receptive to how music affects you, right? And then it started with writing how I feel, because if I didn't let it out through writing, I was going to let it out another way, right? So I started writing at night. I used to work third shift. And then that turned from poems to like songs. Showed it to my buddy. Showed him like the first verse that I like felt like, yo, this is what I tried on. And he was like, dude, like, it's fucking, you should write more. And then it just started with that.
What are your main goals as an artist? Where are you wanting to see music take you?
Well, right now, my main goal as an artist is to literally just be fucking happy, dude. Like, finding internal peace and somehow reflecting that into the world to a level that is far beyond what has been given to me through the beginning of my life. I think that there's many ways to deal with situations, you know, that you deal with, but ultimately the only way that you're really going to destroy any type of evil that's going on in this world is like through love, right? And the only way that I can do that is by loving myself. Right. So right now I'm just seeking internal peace and trying to like reflect that in any way, but also like showing you that like to get to that point you gotta fucking go through the mud. To get to that point you gotta fucking face your demons and really understand like what the fuck is going on here. Otherwise you're gonna like go into a freaking gunfight with a knife.
Right. I agree with you entirely, man. That's awesome that you're on kind of like this like self-reflection journey through music. That's what it's all about, man. What changes have you seen in the local music scene?
What changes have I seen? Well, one, I think it's all a matter of perspective and what you're trying to look for, right? You can be a fan and trying to find like how shows change, right? For me as an artist and also like trying to manage myself, I've seen the difference in the background, right? So you start going to shows and it goes from looking at the guy on stage and being like, man, that guy's fucking dope, to going to who put that guy there. right? So now it's like, who's behind the speakers? Who is sitting here plugging the shit up before the show starts? So that's what's changed for me. Not necessarily like how the art is being displayed, but who puts the art together to be showcased properly.
Okay. So who are some of your favorite like local artists to collab with?
Number one, probably Suevo. I think he's dope as fuck. He's super talented. I think he's very reachable. Michael Da Vinci. Pretty much anyone from the house is really cool. Mostly because I can just tell that what they're doing is really genuine. They're not trying to do anything more than make themselves worth more, you know, and I can appreciate that type of shit, because it's hard out here whenever everything around you is telling you like, hey man, your worth comes from A, B, and C, but you operate on, you know, D, E, and F, right? So I try to find people like that. So I would say, you know, people like that. There's also not just hip hop artists, but I really like to focus on producers, building relationships with producers. There's a guy named Payday. I just met physically, but we've been kind of talking online. And then other like kind of underground based producers here in Chattanooga, like Happy Camper, Camp Chilla, people like that.
Okay.
My latest release, it's called Dancing on the Ashes. You can look it up. My name is MADSALVY. I'm on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google, everything, right? Dancing on the Ashes, I dropped it in April. It's a compilation tape of different things that I went through in the past year and a half. And I grabbed all those things and I put them into something that's going to be productive. Right now, I'm working on dropping a single each month, starting in August. Along with the song that I'm dropping, it's going to be like a video series. It's called Method to the Madness. So every time we go to the studio, how we're going about marketing, mastering, mixing, all that stuff, we're putting it into like a video each month for each individual song. So you can look up Mad Salvy on YouTube. And the first single that we're dropping this season is called La Luna. It drops sometime in August.
Frequencies vibrating, bringing everything to life. I died a couple times and resurrected into the divine.